Tucked away within the bustling, built-up streets of the City of London, you will find a charming little park. Popular in the past with those in the mail service who enjoyed their lunches there, it gained the name Postman's Park and sits just north of St. Paul's Cathedral. The park itself offers a touch of tranquility amongst the towering buildings enveloping it. But the true value of this park can be found in the memorial that is placed there. Possibly one of the most unique memorials in the country, if not the world. In 1887, an artist by the name of George Frederic Watt came up with a plan to celebrate Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee and eventually installed his memorial a few years later in 1900. What makes this memorial unique, you ask? It is dedicated to the memory of somebody ordinary who did something extraordinary. They gave their life in an attempt to save another. Originally opened with 4 plaques, the memorial now hosts 54 wonderfully crafted ceramic plaques detailing the name, date of death and deed that sees them honoured in this remarkable memorial. A constant work in progress, the 53rd plaque was added in 1931 and the 54th was added in 2007. Here are all 54. Alfred Smith, police constable. He was killed in an air raid while saving the life of women and girls, June 13, 1917. Lee Pitt, reprographic operator, aged 30, saved a boy from the canal at Thamesmead, but sadly was unable to save himself, June 7th, 2007. Thomas Griffin Fittis, labourer, April the 12th, 1899, in a boiler explosion at a Battersea refinery, was fatally scalded in returning to search for his mate. Walter Pert, driver, and Harry Dean, fireman of the Windsor Express, July 18, 1898, whilst being scalded and burnt, sacrificed their lives in saving the train. Mary Rogers, stewardess of the Stella, March the 30th, 1899, self-sacrificed by giving up her life belt and voluntarily going down in the sinking ship. George Stephen Funnell, police constable, December 22nd, 1899, in a fire at the Elephant and Castle, Wick Road, Hackney Wick, after rescuing 2 lives, went back into the flames, saving a barmaid at the risk of his own life. Joseph Andrew Ford, aged 30, Metropolitan Fire Brigade, saved 6 persons from fire in Gray's Inn Road, but in his last heroic act he was scorched to death, October the 7th, 1871. Amelia Kennedy, age 19, died in trying to save her sister from their burning house in Edwards Lane, Stoke Newington, October 18th, 1871. Edmund Emery, of 272 Kings Road, Chelsea, leapt from a Thames steamboat to rescue a child and was drowned, July 31st, 1874. William Donald of Bayswater, aged 19, railway clerk, who was drowned in the Lee trying to save a lad from a dangerous entanglement of weed, July 16th, 1876. P.C. Harold Frank Ricketts, Metropolitan Police, drowned at Teignmouth whilst trying to rescue a boy bathing and seen to be in difficulty, 11th of September, 1916. P.C. Edward George Brown Greenough, Metropolitan Police. Many lives were saved by his devotion to duty at the terrible explosion at Silvertown, 19th of January 1917. P.C. Percy Edwin Cook, Metropolitan Police, voluntarily descended high-tension chamber at Kensington to rescue 2 workmen overcome by poisonous gas, 7th of October 1927. Frederick Mills, Arata, Robert Durant, and F.D. Jones, who lost their lives in bravely striving to save a comrade at the sewage pumping works in East Ham, July 1st, 1895. Elizabeth Boxall, aged 17, of Bethnal Green, died of injuries received in trying to save a child from a runaway horse, June 20, 1888. Herbert Peter Ghazali, stationer's clerk, who was drowned at Kew in endeavouring to save a man from drowning, April 21st, 1889. Herbert McGonagall, a schoolboy from Wimbledon, aged 13. His parents absent in India, lost his life in vainly trying to rescue his 2 schoolfellows who were drowned at Glover's Pool, Croydon, North Devon, August 28th, 1882. Samuel Rabbath, medical officer of the Royal Free Hospital, who tried to save a child suffering from diphtheria at the cost of his own life, October 26, 1884. Frederick Alfred Croft, Inspector, aged 31, saved a lunatic woman from suicide at Woolwich Arsenal Station, but was himself run over by the train, January 11th, 1878. It should be noted with this particular plaque that it is of course from a time where mental health was not considered, and a lunatic is used in a way that is somewhat shocking to us today. Harry Sisley of Coolburn, aged 10, drowned in attempting to save his brother after he himself had just been rescued, May 24th, 1878. James Hewers, on September 24th, 1878, was killed by a train at Richmond in the endeavour to save another man. George Blencow, age 16, when a friend bathing in the Lee cried for help, went to his rescue and was drowned, September 6, 1880. David Sells, age 12, of Woolwich, supported his drowning playfellow and sank with him clasped in his arms, September 12, 1886. William Goodrum, signalman, age 60, lost his life at Kingsland Road Bridge in saving a workman from death under the approaching train from Kew, February 28, 1880. Mrs. Yarman, wife of George Yarman, labourer at Bermondsey, refused to be deterred from making 3 attempts to climb a burning staircase to save her aged mother, died of the effects March 26, 1900. Alexander Stuart Brown of Brockley, Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons, through suffering from severe spinal injury, the result of a recent accident, died from his brave efforts to rescue a drowning man and restore his life, October 9th, 1900. Ernest Benning, compositor, age 22, upset from a boat one dark night of Pimlico Pier, grasped an oar with one hand, supporting a woman with the other, but sank as she was rescued, August 25th, 1883. Thomas Simpson died of exhaustion after saving many lives from the breaking ice at Highgate Ponds, January 25th, 1885. William Fisher, aged 9, lost his life on Rodney Road, Walworth, while trying to save his little brother from being run over, July 12th, 1886. George Frederic Simmons of Islington rushed into a burning house to save an aged widow and died of his injuries, December 1st, 1886. Richard Farris, labourer, was drowned in attempting to save a poor girl who had thrown herself into the canal at Globe Bridge, Peckham, May 20, 1878. George Lee, fireman, at a fire in Clerkenwell, carried an unconscious girl to the escape, falling 6 times, and died of his injuries, July 26, 1876. William Drake lost his life in averting a serious accident to a lady in Hyde Park, April 22, 1869, whose horses were unmanageable through the breaking of the carriage pole. It should be noted with this particular plaque that the lady he saved was one of the most renowned opera singers of the day. Ellen Donovan of Lincoln Court, Great Wild Street, rushed into a burning house to save a neighbour's children and perished in the flames, July 28, 1873. Samuel Lodell, bargeman, drowned when rescuing a boy at Blackfriars, February the 25th, 1887. He had saved 2 other lives. William Freer Lucas, MRCS LLD, at Middlesex Hospital, risked poison for himself rather than lessen any chance of saving a child's life and died, October the 8th, 1893. Edward Blake, drowned while skating at the Welsh Harp Waters, Hendon, in the attempt to rescue 2 unknown girls, February the 5th, 1895. Edward Morris, aged 10, bathing in the Grand Junction Canal, sacrificed his life to help his sinking companion, August the 2nd, 1897. Alice Ayres, daughter of a bricklayer's labourer, who by intrepid conduct saved 3 children from a burning house in Union Street, Borough, at the cost of her own young life, April the 24th, 1885. John Cranmer Cambridge, aged 23, a clerk in the London County Council, who was drowned near Ostend while saving the life of a stranger and a foreigner, August 8th, 1901. G. Garnish, a young clergyman who lost his life in endeavouring to rescue a stranger from drowning at Putney, January 7th, 1885. John Clinton, aged 10, who was drowned near London Bridge in trying to save a companion younger than himself, July the 16th, 1894. Godfrey Maule Nicholson, manager of a Stratford distillery, George Eliot and Robert Underhill, workmen, successively went down a well to rescue comrades and were poisoned by gas, July 12, 1901. Solomon Gallagher, aged 11, who died of his injuries on September the 6th, 1901, after saving his little brother from being run over on Commercial Street. James Bannister of Bow, aged 30, rushed over when an opposite shop caught fire and was suffocated in the attempt to save life, October 14th, 1901. Elizabeth Coghlan, aged 26, of Church Path, Stoke Newington, died saving her family and house by carrying blazing paraffin to the yard, January the 1st, 1902. Sarah Smith, pantomime artiste at Prince's Theatre, died of terrible injuries received when attempting in her inflammable dress to extinguish the flames which had enveloped her companion, January 24th, 1863. Robert Wright, police constable of Croydon, entered a burning house to save a woman, knowing that there was petroleum stored in the cellar. An explosion took place and he was killed, April 30th, 1893. Henry James Bristow, aged 8, at Walthamstow on December the 30th, 1890, saved his little sister's life by tearing off her flaming clothes, but caught fire himself and died of burns and shock. Joseph William Onslow, lighterman, who was drowned at Wapping on May the 5th, 1885, in trying to save a boy's life. Arthur Regulus, carman, Little Peter, aged 25, who, with Alice Maud Denman, aged 27, died in trying to save her children from a burning house in Bethnal Green, April 20th, 1902. Arthur Strange, carman of London, and Mark Tomlinson, on a desperate venture to save tow girls from quicksand in Lincolnshire, were themselves engulfed, August 25th, 1902. John Slade, Private 4th Battalion of the Royal Fusiliers of Stepney, when his house caught fire, saved one man and, dashing upstairs to rouse others, lost his life, December 26th, 1902. Daniel Pemberton, age 61, foreman, Alice W.R., surprised by a train when gauging the line, hurled his mate out of the track, saving his life at the cost of his own, January 17th, 1903. Each of these plaques tells a story far greater than the plaque itself ever could, and I would encourage you to delve into each name in depth. Watt had originally envisioned the memorial containing 120 plaques, so there is still room to honour those who make the ultimate sacrifice in saving others. What is particularly poignant is the quote attributed to Watt on the concept behind the memorial. The material prosperity of a nation is not an abiding possession, the deeds of its people are. And in addition, a quote from the Bible: "Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." John 15:13. In our time, where you could argue that self-preservation and me first could be the prevailing sentiment of our combined culture, this park serves to remind us of the power, emotion, and drama that the human condition has to offer. If you enjoy history, art, culture, and more, please consider subscribing to the English Gentleman ASMR.